1 week and you have them back. You have to put smile on your face. My name is Adejare Adebowale. It's the best sporting show in the whole of the universe. It's new system to sport, of course, on Ben Radio School, on our YouTube channel, on TikTok, and of course on Facebook. I have with me today Orakukachi. Let him introduce himself to you guys.
Sports fans, always a pleasure to be here. I don't want to say that I've been away for personal reasons, but just clashes in commitments has caused it. But that has not stopped the world of sports to keep on rolling. I think the last time I was here, wow, it's been almost 3 weeks. The last time I was here, a certain Patrick Mahomes thought he was going to three-peat, and they brought him back down to earth. There's trouble in the Milan Paradise, obviously, but it's no longer different. Last time I was also here, a certain club that has the logo of a cannon thought they were going to compete for the English Premier League, but they've also been strikerlessly brought down back to earth. Everything happening in the world of the EPL. Uh, I know he's just acting as if he doesn't know what I'm talking about. But all this we are going to dissect. A big Ramadan Kareem shout out to my Muslim brothers and listeners. We pray that God hears your prayers. But stay tuned because it appears that the Lakers have moved from pretenders to contenders. All this we will dissect.
All right, guys. Now we'll move straight to the world of football, where we'll be starting, of course, from the UEFA Champions League preview. I did this preview last week by myself, but now that I have Orokokachi with me, of course,
Mhm,
it's
mhm.
only good when you see the master. Actually, the master Orokokachi can give us if you're a betting guy. Orokokachi could be your best bet for the bet. Um, Actually, I'm going to start with the game between Club Brugge and Villa. This is happening in
Mhm,
Belgium.
mhm,
Personally, I feel Brugge will take this. I don't know why I think so, but I honestly feel they will take this.
mhm,
Coming from their encounter against Atalanta and the
mhm.
way they went about their
That
business,
business,
and
yeah, yeah,
even
yeah.
before then, I believe they played against Manchester City during the first
The
round.
game
I
mode,
think their
yeah.
last game, and City were
Mhm.
only lucky to actually defeat them. They play good
Yes,
football.
yes.
They attacked, and of course, in our Emery too is stacked. But this is our Belgium. What do you think?
The truth is, you couldn't have said it any better. This is a team that has, at least in one season, moved from being the laughing stock and just perennial calendar markers in the Champions League to now actually being one that can spring up a surprise. I thought in match day 8 against City, it was a game they lost rather than City win because they had probably the better chances. And you can now see where the money City has played a part because if they had any striker in the mold of Mamouche or Haaland or anybody in that City ranks, at the end of those chances that day at the Etihad, the story would have been different. City probably would have had a more ignominious exit in the group stages than
What we had
what they
against?
got what they had against Madrid in the playoff. All that being said, I do agree with you that Club Brugge will put up. I still don't see them winning over two leg against Aston Villa because I totally think Atalanta underestimated the quality of Bruges. I don't think Unai Emery, who is a cup competition expert, will make that mistake because he knows that all it takes is one bad game and you've dug yourself a very big hole. Now, Bruges, on the other hand, also know right now they are playing with house money,
Yeah.
but you have to give good credit to how they set up. With Onyedika at that spine, at the base of that midfield, it appears that they now feel very physical. They are not afraid of anybody. And that's always very critical when you play in the Champions League. I think Bruges wins this. I, however, think it will not be enough to set them up properly to take advantage of Villa in the second
In
leg.
the Villa
There's a
Park.
way English clubs play frenetic football. They just need 10 minutes of And pardon our international listeners for what I'm about to say, but they need 10 minutes of bass football, and they can get their result. They can get 3 goals in 10 minutes and then play out a
Game
very
over.
drab. Yeah. So I think Bruges wins the first leg, but it will be properly set up for an exciting second leg at the Villa Park.
All right, perfect. Of course, the game between Dortmund and Lille, Lille
Mhm.
over the weekend,
Yeah.
live followed while PSG ran all over them 4-1,
Mhm.
4 goals in the
Mhm.
first half. Um, they were not just themselves, and of course, you look at Dortmund. Dortmund won 2-0. I think Grassi and Adeyemi scored those 2 goals, two
Mhm.
lovely goals. But of course, Dortmund is the disappointment of Germany. That is their nickname. The Arsenal of Germany.
Yeah, the Arsenal of
Perennial,
Germany.
yeah,
The AC Milan,
perennial.
the AC Milan of Germany now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a perennial underachievers when they actually raise your hope up, and of course they flunk at the end of the day.
Hmm.
But this is at the black and yellow stadium in
Hmm.
Germany. I don't see how Lille are going to survive this with that tremendous 12th player.
Atmosphere. Yeah.
Yeah, the kind of atmosphere they're gonna perceive on that particular day. I think Dortmund takes this. Um,
No,
for first leg.
Debo, I agree with you. I think Dortmund wins it, but you kind of set this up very, very well with your analysis of what Dortmund has become. They've become an inconsistent side where when you have your hopes up and you bet your house and your mortgage on them to win, they end up losing to Eintracht Frankfurt at home or
Yeah,
dropping point against FC Cologne. Just you get the drift. So
yeah,
while they are pretty much set up, especially on the back of what happened this weekend, Dortmund coming off a convincing 2-0 victory, Lille getting dragged all over the pitch in Parc des Princes, yeah, over the weekend, tells me that Dortmund should easily scale this and prepare themselves, or at least put themselves in a good stead. But this is where I
gets
I
tricky.
get very pissed off with the likes of AC Milan, with the likes of Manchester City, and even Real Madrid because their profligacy during the course of the season, their inconsistency allowed teams such as Bruges, Lille to occupy the top 8 position that should naturally be the birthright of the big names of the
Games.
competition, right? Lille, it wasn't as if they blew everybody out of the park with the style of football they had played. The only
Mm-hmm.
reason why we had so much expectation is because of where they ended up finishing in the group stage of the
Yeah,
Champions League. We
yeah,
wanted to we used their position to accord them a certain pedigree that technically Lille has never had.
yeah,
So I think PSG has shown that if you take them serious and you fight them as if you are fighting your peer group, they will run away from that fight because they are not made up for it. But it's a knockout stage. I think I would let me put it this way: I would not be surprised if Lille gets a result. However, on paper, I don't expect them to leave the Signal Iduna Park with anything other
yeah,
than a loss.
yeah. And of course, to one where I think it's going to be in Holland, PSG versus
Mhm.
Arsenal. Personally, I don't see Arsenal winning this. I think the best they can actually get is a draw. Arsenal is going to go out of this tie unless Bukayo Saka and Martinelli come back.
Returns. Mhm.
But without those two guys, definitely they are out. They are out, and I see them losing this first leg. This first leg and trying to salvage something
Mm.
at home. Personally, that's my own opinion. I don't know what you think.
And I think you're saying that really from a place of disappointment and not necessarily because of how they match up. I think Arsenal, yes, strikerless, but they still match up very well to this PSV team. PSV also is one team that has really impressed me
Yeah,
in this tournament so far. They play with the carefree attitude that we've always known young Dutch sides to play with. The Ajax of the 90s played with this freedom. Uh,
yeah,
they, they, the sum of their parts was always greater than the individual talent across the other side of the pitch. And they would obviously ride on the wave of their very, very vociferous fans back in Holland. However, this is the kind of game that Ateta now needs to pass a message and send a message. Inconsistent results over the last 4 weeks tells me that something may be off. It is. I think this is the game where Arsenal now shows. And one thing Arsenal has shown in this Champions League, apart from the game at Inter Milan, where they really should have come out with a draw, and if not for some very dubious officiating,
Mhm.
Inter wouldn't have won that game. Arsenal has held theirs. I think probably maybe only was it Lille or Lens that also got a victory over them this season away from home. Other than that, Arsenal has always held itself very well, playing away from home. I think this is the game where they immediately silence that crowd, take the crowd out of the game. They probably sneak out of here with a 1-0 victory, but
Mhm.
because PSV plays so much better than for Arsenal to be very negative, I still think Arsenal wins this game with a 2-1. It will be surprising. The goals will come from the defenders. Arsenal will revert to corner FC for this game. They are going to get some set piece goals. Saliba might probably start to redeem himself because he's going to play against young boys. He will boss them around. I think Arsenal gets a surprise win here.
Okay. Let's see. As an Arsenal fan, I'm not hopeful. I think
Yeah,
they just don't
I
have
can
the
tell.
goals in them.
I can tell. You
Um,
don't have to tell. You don't have to convince me. I see it in your face.
Real Madrid versus Atletico Madrid,
Yeah.
Battle of the Madrid, but the
Mhm.
Madrid stars. Real Madrid have gotten back their defenders, but for some strange reason, still doesn't look. I don't
Mhm.
know,
Mhm.
balance.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't say the fact that Jude was not playing should really affect them up to this extent. Although Mbappe was not fully fit, even for the game
Mhm.
over the weekend, it was
Mhm.
withdrew I think on the 65th or 70th minute
Yeah.
of that encounter. But Atletico Madrid, they know how to grind out these results. They've been great against Real Madrid
Mhm.
outside the Champions League. So
Yes.
so if they can do this is the first time they'll be doing it against Real Madrid in the Champions
In
League,
the
which is
Champions
a
League.
big ask for the
Mhm.
Ego Simoni and his men. With the way Real Madrid are playing, but of course they are the landlords of the Champions League. I
Right.
would tilt through towards Real Madrid to go through in this encounter. I don't know how it's going to happen. Maybe they will come back to score 5 goals within 2 seconds like they always do. But I'll definitely tilt towards them.
Yeah, the form team in Spain, forget all those fancy results Barcelona is getting. The form team in Spain right now is clearly Atletico Madrid. Um, I need to say something before I go into whatever I want to say here. It's
Okay.
always very funny how Atletico sets up to play defensive high line against Real Madrid, and then against Barcelona, they go all out to play like an attacking, pressing football. It's a Diego Simeone mindset kind of thing. There has to be an innate fear of we don't want to lose this game. Keep it close until we can get a chance to win. That's the mindset I see them play against Madrid. And then when it comes to Barcelona, they're like, take these guys to the cleaner.
Let's
We
take it slow.
deserve to win. I say that to say Atletico will be cautious, not because they are not a better side, but because in Diego Simeone's mind, he is still haunted, especially in the UCL.
Yeah.
He's still haunted by memories of 2014
Mm-hmm.
and I think 2016. I'm not too sure now. Yeah, but I think I definitely think Atletico should win over the course of 2 legs, but it is the Champions League. It is so hard. It is so hard for me to come here and tell you that Real Madrid does not stand a chance. They drink a different type of water when it comes to the Champions League. They eat a different type of food. They breathe a different type of air. And that 15, that number 15 that is always on their shoulder,
Yeah.
it injects something. But this is a tournament that Mbappe desperately needs to win. He is coming into form. I think he was rested. Say what you will. If he had stayed against
Real Betis.
Betis over the weekend, I'm pretty sure they could have snatched a draw. But coming back to this game, it is indeed too close to tell because on paper, Atletico should go into the Bernabeu and get a result. But because it is the Champions League, all I will say is Madrid wins this leg, but it will not be enough to present their ouster when they play the second leg. I give this first leg to Madrid.
to Madrid. Of course, Feyenoord, Inter Milan should be able to defend their big brother against Feyenoord in Holland. I don't see Feyenoord winning this. What do you think?
I also don't see them simply because Inter is just on another level right now. They are heads and shoulder the best team in Italy. As bad as that sounds, I need to be very objective. In Lotaro, excuse me,
Tearin,
in Turam,
Marcos Thuram,
In Dumfries,
yeah,
that team plays like
Nico Barella,
a bossy Italian team.
yeah,
But Feyenoord has also taken the scalp of. I mean, it's they're not going to be afraid of this. The stadium. They went in there. They got a draw that they needed to end AC Milan's dream. They are going to go back in there feeling well. No, not in the first leg. They are going to go into their first leg saying, "Hey, we know how to win against Italian teams. We've done it in exactly one round ago. Just win at home. We can grind the result out there." But Inter, I think this is where the fairy tale ends for Feyenoord, especially because Inter somehow don't know how to lie down. They will keep coming. You will not know that they are playing attacking football. You will not know that they are pressing you. You just be asking yourself,
exactly.
how are
But
these guys? How are they beating Napoli? How
I'm
are they
telling you,
beating Juventus?
I'm
How are they
telling you,
beating? That's what you'll be asking yourself, and then the goals coming. So I think Inter. I agree with you. Inter wins this, and yes, we will take the vengeance because we still need our Italian clubs
yeah,
for the
Italians
coefficient
have been disastrous in this
and
tournament so far. AC
yes,
Milan out, Juventus out, and of course Atalanta
Atalanta
out.
out. Yes.
At the battle of Germany, Bayern Munich versus Bayer Leverkusen. Bayern Munich are going to be playing at home, courtesy
Hmm.
of their low finish during the group
Hmm.
stages. I
Hmm.
think personally, I don't think company would be able to match the intelligence of Xabi Alonso over the course of two games. I
Yeah.
believe they played like 2 or 3 weeks ago, played a drab 0-0 draw.
Draw. Yeah.
But
Uh,
I don't think they will be able to take it away from Munich over against Leverkusen over the course of two games. And this is not
Lever-
because of the class of the players, but the
mhm.
intelligence of the coaches. So
Yes, I think this game came too early for Vincent Company. He has not. Yes, he may be top of the table, but he has not been very convincing. And when they played Leverkusen, even in that nil-nil draw, Leverkusen handed them those games because they had two clear-cut chances to put the ball in the back of the net. Poor finishings ended that. Well, rather, cost the result we got on that day. Bayern, however, um, they need to stop seeing Dortmund as their biggest rival now, at least until when Xabi Alonso leaves, and start considering Leverkusen as the biggest dog right now. I think if they approach it that way, then they will play with the seriousness they need to play with. Bayern needs to go to Leverkusen with at least a two-goal advantage to stand any chance of potentially winning this two-leg win, and that is where the problem lie. I don't see them beating Leverkusen
without their defense.
with a two-goal lead. I do think this game ends in a draw, and only because it's being played in Munich.
Yeah.
I don't see Bayern get living here with a or going to the second leg with a win. A draw for me.
All right, perfect. And of course, Barcelona versus Benfica. Barcelona won the first encounter, quote and unquote, under dubious circumstances, 5-4. And Benfica has shown us that they are there and they should be taken seriously against
Hmm.
any of the big teams
Hmm.
across Europe.
Hmm.
This is going to be a different ball game and a hard encounter for Barcelona, especially as it's happening in Portugal. I believe Benfica would win this first leg
Hmm.
marginally, and they will be killed away at the Camp Nou. But
Uh,
I don't think Barcelona would win this first leg.
I don't know, though. And that's where I differ with you. I think this is a game where Barca will win both legs of the game or of this matchup. Barcelona somehow always manages to get these favorable draws when it comes to the Champions League, and they end up if they lose, they end up losing themselves, not because they were given a crazy team to beat. I mean, look at what every other person is facing. For well, is the benefit you get for finishing second or top in your in the group stand, I guess. Bayern gets Leverkusen, Real gets Atletico,
Yeah.
PSG gets Liverpool. The result for all their hard work is to get a Liverpool team, and then and then Barcelona comes and they give them a Benfica when there are other teams there. So I don't agree with you. I think this is a game that Bayern. I keep saying Bayern. I
Barcelona.
apologize. That Barcelona wins comfortably over the course of two legs, starting from the first leg.
Okay, all right, perfect. I would hold you to that one definitely.
Yeah.
And so another one I feel, I think PSG should have been put in the dustbin. From the first leg, they had the worst matchups.
Hmm.
In the group stages, they played
Hmm.
almost
They
all the
played
big teams.
everybody.
They
Yes.
played
Yes.
almost all the big teams against Bayern
Yes.
Munich, including Arsenal. I can't remember the other people but
They
I know they
played.
played
I
so
think either
many big
Juventus or
teams.
Inter. They played
They
either Juventus or Inter.
they played so many. So they
Uh,
were lucky to even get to the round of 16. And
mhm,
for that reason, I'm tilting towards them against Liverpool. And I feel I know people most Arsenal fans have been castigated for saying Liverpool have been lucky this season. I don't know. Maybe my own perception is quite different from what other Arsenal fans feel. I
mhm,
feel when you say someone is lucky, if you lose the top four strikers, that is ill luck, and it's part of winning a championship.
wow.
Getting your players fit is one of the reasons why you win the championship or you lose the championship. Apart from bottling it as like
Mhm,
Arsenal does every year. But that being said, I personally feel PSG will just need this against Liverpool. Liverpool, for all they've done in the Champions League, they've
mhm.
gotten some
Funny result.
funny results that I remember vividly the game against AC Milan. AC Milan was all over them. The game
Mhm,
against Bologna was all over them. But they came out to win those two games, right?
mhm,
Off
mhm.
the top of my head, I can't remember the other games.
Yeah.
But those
Mhm,
two games, personally, I'm like, ah, they are decisive. They
yeah.
are decisive. They take their chances. But
Mhm,
at the same time, they have this, wonderful performance, stroke of luck, or whatever you want to call it as well, that favors them apart from the way they play. But
mhm.
I think PSG will just be all out, and PSG will be like, okay, we can do this. I feel PSG takes this time. How it happens, I don't know. But I think PSG takes this time.
Debo, as much as I want to share your sentiments, I do not. And one of the main reasons is because the second leg is going
At
to be
Anfield.
one of those wondrous Champions League nights at Anfield. And even for Liverpool, no matter how bad you see them play, they don't concede a lot of goals.
Oh my God.
So it's an unstoppable force. Meeting an immovable object. PSG has been getting all the goals now. You can say anything you want to say about the competition, but you play the team in front of you, and for them to have survived the barrage of top clubs that they played at the group stages. Yes,
Hmm.
they are probably the most battle-hardened team, battle-tested team remaining in the Champions League right now.
Yeah.
What can get worse than what they face right now? They stared elimination in the face. I think they took care of City.
Yeah.
They stared elimination and they came out unscathed. The only issue is they are meeting a Liverpool side that is so disciplined defensively. Their shape, you never stretch them out of their shape, that it becomes so difficult. If we make it an individual battle, yes, Dembele will get the best of whoever is on the left side of that pitch that day. But it's not going to be a battle of Dembele and just either Andy Robertson or whoever they decide to play.
It's going to be Bakola versus the person on the left. The Dembele
Exactly.
will play through the middle. At least that's
Let's
what they've
let's
done. That's
let's
what they've
let's
done
see.
past couple of games.
Let's see. And it has gotten them a lot of results. And I think Dembele would have to move to the right to get even any room to even see anything. If he stays in the middle, he even gets more choked up. Between Soboslai, what's my Argentine guy that I'm forgetting his
McAllister.
name right away, McAllister.
McAllister.
I think they are able to snuff out. They can match with him for pace and for power. They will get into those tackles. They will nig him. Just those classic British way of making you uncomfortable. I don't see PSG getting too many goals, and you need a lot of goals to truly and well bury
Liverpool.
Liverpool. Because of that, PSG may win this first leg, but it's not that Liverpool will not get their goal. In fact, don't be surprised if it ends in a draw. I still think PSG wins the first leg, but over two ties, there's
Liverpool
no
is winning.
way I'm going to pick PSG over Liverpool. There's just no way. I
Yeah,
want to be proven wrong, but
that's it's just my that's
Olaika is watching me, and it's his 50th birthday. There is no way I'm going to pick PSG over Liverpool. Olaika, that is for you.
and of course a rundown of the games from the La Liga. Barcelona played a 4-0 victory, had a 4-0
Mhm,
victory over Real Sociedad.
mhm,
Atletico Madrid won 1-0 against Atletico Bilbao. And of course, Real Betis defeated Real Madrid 2-1 at home. In Italy, Napoli played a 1-1 draw against Inter Milan thanks to
mhm,
that late goal by Benin. And of course, Atlanta played a 0-0 draw against
mhm,
Valencia. If they have won this game, they would have gone um, a touching distance in the league, like
yeah.
tied on top of the league.
Mhm,
That's what happened in the Serie A right away. And of course, in the FA Cup, United lost at home against Fulham via penalties. I don't want to talk about United. And then Newcastle lost at home against Brighton and Hove. But
mhm,
the question about this game, before we round up this segment of the show and come back for the basketball aspect, the the funniest thing about this is basically Fabian Huzelia, the coach of Brighton
mhm,
and Hove.
mhm.
And I want to ask you a question, Kachi.
Yes.
Football, for being a football genius goes beyond your coaching ability and the
Yeah.
kind of coach
Yeah.
that you have.
Yeah. Yeah.
As a matter of fact, it goes deep down to the foundation of the team itself,
Mhm,
how the team is built, how they perceive things, how they want to do things, how things turn around for them quickly and whatnot.
mhm.
And Brighton and Hove is just an example, right? We saw, I've forgotten his name right now, the West Ham coach, the former Chelsea
Well,
manager,
Graham Potter.
Graham Potter. He did a wonderful job at Brighton. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, that's good. Unearthing a couple of talents like Basuma, like Salcido and whatnot, and he left for Chelsea.
Mhm,
The Zerbi came. The Zerbi came into a lovely structure, had a
mhm.
wonderful one as well. Got to
Yeah.
the Europa League for Brighton and over. Like, oh, okay, something is happening down here, right?
Mhm,
And now we have Fabian as well. Fabian, I think he's just 32 or 33 years old. He's a young lad, but because of the structure, you perceive like this is something brewing. And at the same time, you look at Brentford as well. They are doing
mhm.
the same thing. I'm saying they have lots of illustrious PhD holders that analyze games for them and whatnot. And they're like, okay. And you see them consistently in that mid-table section. They are not going to the second page and going to the front
Yes.
page.
Yes.
And this
Yes.
is a style of footballing structure that most clubs should be copying, if you ask me. They'll get the good players, sell them for high,
Mhm.
while still competing at their own level.
Yes.
Kachi,
Yes.
what's the structure? Is this something that we could actually hack and replicate in places like Chelsea, Manchester United that have they have the brand, they have the
Mhm,
money, they have the
mhm,
muscle, but they just don't have the structure.
mhm.
Is, are they supposed to just look over to that side of London or look over to that side of Brighton? Like, okay, let's copy this style and let's see if it works for us.
No, I think you have to give Brighton the credit for looking outside England to find this structure because this is very similar to what works in Holland, what works in Germany. A mid-table team, understanding that we'll see, we will not punch above our belt, but we will ensure financial stability. We will get teams or coaches and players that would play our style of football. Just identify what is your identity, and I think that's a question that a lot of the big clubs, my club included, AC Milan, You can call Chelsea as no, maybe not Arsenal, um, Manchester United, and say, what really is your identity? Liverpool is a very good example, saying, look, get your former coach involved in the selection of the next coach because you want to preserve identity. I think what Brighton has successfully done is to put square pegs in square holes or round pegs in round holes. The owner does not, you don't hear the owner every day in the news. He's left proper football management to the technocrats to handle. Even the director of football, if they have any, we don't hear about them. They go about doing their business. They run it like it's a separate company from the owner. And that is what most of these big clubs have to take. Run this like a separate company from the owner. Take away the ego of the owner. Your ego, the owner's egos are too big in United, in Chelsea, that it's interfering with how you want to run it. Not everyone can be a Florentino Perez. Leave Perez alone. Even Barcelona tried to run Barca like Real Madrid. Everybody should leave for the Madrid um,
Stand
method
framework.
and go, yes, and go to the Dortmunds of this world, and not even Bayern Munich. Look at Dortmund, look at Feyenoord, look at Ajax, look at PSV. That is the method where that small clubs, the Leicesters of this world, who for some reason are trying to punch above their belt and they keep getting burnt. Brighton should be complimented for finding their identity early and then hiring coaches to match. I mean, they conduct proper interviews. What is your philosophy about football? How do you want to play? We're not just going to hire the next big name or the next available name. He went to St. Pauli. I'm talking of Fabian now, Hoselberg.
Yeah,
I think
okay,
I think
yeah,
that's
yeah,
the name.
yeah.
Horzela, sorry.
Rosella.
He had almost a 65% win rate in St. Pauli. So he wasn't coming as just an unknown. He cleared so someone who was an assistant coach at St. Pauli before he became a head coach. It shows me he has a clear way he wants to play his football. That every time Brighton goes to hire a coach, they ask them, are you going to see? Forget win or lose. If you play this way, we would always be in the Premier League. We might not be in the, we will not fight for relegation. We might not win every game, but we will play eye catching football. We would unearth hidden gems. We will make enough money, but we will always remain competitive. And that is what they are doing. Brighton has never come out to tell you their ambition is to make the top six. If their style of football allows them make the top six, they will
Fine.
take it. But they know that their style of football will never get them in the bottom five of the Premier League. And that works just fine for them. Now, teams have to now say, and I'm saying this directly to the management of Manchester United and AC Milan. You have to tell yourself, where are we right now? What should be our identity right now? We cannot be chasing past glories and throwing money at problems. Oh, go get the next best coach that is available. Does this coach fit into our playing philosophy? Or are you going to give the coach field reign to redesign that team in his image?
In his
We
own
saw
image.
Arsenal do the same for Arteta. Yes, let people can say whatever they want to say this season. We know injury has plagued Arsenal this year, and there are probably one striker, one very good striker, and a decent backup striker away from competing. So I think Ateta has also molded Arsenal. They just need to spend money the right way. But
Expect
you look at Chelsea, you look at AC Milan, you look at Manchester United, and you tell yourself these are three clubs that don't have a clear identity on what style of football they want to play. Brighton has found it, and big kudos to them.
All right, perfect. That'll be the round off for the football segment. Don't wait. Don't go anywhere, guys. We're back with the basketball side of things.